Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be having a look at, in the right side of the map, spawning as the Red Laren, Mouse's Heromarine. On the left side of the map, spawning as the Blue Zerg, playing for Team Ants. Once again it's going to be Serral. Another couple of games from the Stay At Home Story Cup between Serral and Heromarine. The first map is going to be Golden One. Now this is one of the special maps recently got introduced. It's has minerals in the back of the main, which can open up the bottom side of the map where there's a couple of extra bases available, 2 per person. So a lot of the time the Terran can decide whether they want to be taking these bases, so playing the top side of the map or playing the bottom side of the map. Another thing the Terran can do is they can take the gold base and play an aggressive style from there with 8 barracks. Is very common on this map, but let's get back into these openings. As we see, Heromarine opening with an SCV Scout, while Serral is just playing his standard hatch first. Now, SCV Scout can be used for a couple of things. Of course, for scouting initially, and afterwards it can be used either to plant the bunker or an eBay on the 3rd base of the Zerg player. Try and delay that from going down. Make sure that the Zerg does need to build some units there. So we have Serral sending out a drone to the natural already. As the SCV arrives, and we're gonna see, Heromarine knows his timing, sees that's the hatchery first. Nothing to do here for me, and returns back home immediately instead of trying to block any potential 3rd base with that SCV. Reaper makes its way across the map as well. We're gonna be having the dance between the Lynx and the Reaper. It's not quite the cha-cha or the tango, but you know, it's a dance by itself. So here we have the Reaper moving in. We'll try to snipe one of those Lynx, but Serral controls it properly. Not a single Lynx has gone down, and now that the Queen pops, these Lynx should be safe. And now we have another little dance here between the Reaper and the first Creep Tumor, but Heromarine's Reaper is 2 damaged already, and it's like, alright, I'm just gonna head back, heal up a little bit with my Reaper, and the first Creep Tumor does go down. So that's a nice little win there for Serral, who immediately starts his 3rd Queen, and we see Heromarine opening up with a 3rd command center before any kind of Hellions have even started. So that's a very fast 3rd base, which is perhaps a little bit greedy. But against Serral, you know, you want to be taking some risks for sure. You don't want to be the safe guy. You want to either get a big economical lead or you want to do something aggressive, because in a standard macro game, there's not a lot of people in this world who can go head to head with him. Now we finally do have that switch. After 2 Marines being built, we have that switch into the double Hellion. Barracks will start a tech lab, most likely for Stim, and the 2nd gas goes down on the natural as well. Rather late timing. Usually you see that about 30 seconds earlier, so this is a very fast 3rd base here for Heromarine, who looks to be playing bio by the looks of it. Otherwise the tech lab would make absolutely 0 sense. So most likely this will be something like 4 to 6 Hellions, and these Hellions might try to run by, but majority of the time you'll just see them used in combination with the Reaper to try and deny some early creep spread. Maybe pick up some transferring drones, some drones that start mining at the 3rd a little bit too early. We'll see how Heromarine manages to control this, as there is a Queen here for Serral, who will be able to push back this little squad of units that Heromarine has. The back of this we see double eBay going down very quickly before a 2nd Rex. This most likely will be another barracks building, and this factory will start a reactor as well. So we'll have 2 barracks with a reactor, 1 barracks with a tech lab. And then after the 1-1 starts for Heromarine, most likely we'll see a starport going down as well. And we'll have the perfect setup that Heromarine wants. Now, this looks to be only 4 Hellions. So once again, very low Hellion count, very fast 3rd CC. This is a very greedy opener here for Heromarine. Serral does kind of catch on to that, as he is also opening with relative greed himself. We see, of course, a lot of Queens to keep him safe, as he picks off a couple of these Hellions, or a couple, picks off 1 of the Hellions and a Reaper. But he opens with 1-1 upgrades before he gets a lair, no Baneling Nest either, so Serral is very aware of what's happening. Probably by scouting the Stim timing, he managed to figure out exactly what's going on, and seeing the timing of the E-base, decided instead of rushing for that lair, rushing for Bane speed, instead we will see a fast 1-1. So Serral will be able to keep up with the upgrades of Heromarine, and he's going to be pretty happy about that. Heromarine keeps his 3 Hellions at home for now that the gold is mining. Don't want to be losing any mining time there, as these gold minerals of course give extra income with a lower worker count. And I'm kind of interested to see what Heromarine's plan is from here. Will he add those 5 extra barracks and go into the 8 racks with only 4 gas, or will he take this 5th gas eventually at a 4 CC, and will we be seeing more of a macro game really? I would not be surprised if on this map we're gonna actually see an 8 racks build. It's a very popular strategy in general, and with this gold here you need even less workers, and with the greed that he showed in the early game, this might be very powerful. Now, first tank will start to build as well, so we're going into that standard setup of 3 racks, 1 factory producing tanks, 2 more racks are being added as well. Well, Serral's been having a blast, right? Spreading creep. Did you lose any creep tumors yet? Lost a single creep tumor, but killed a Hellion and a Reaper. So very good early game here for Serral, who's been left alone for the majority of the game, and that's a scary thing to do. I can assure you that. First 2 medevacs do start moving out at around 6:30. Oh, Lynx are moving forward. Heromarine actually wasn't paying attention. Yeah, Serral could have gone. He was just wanted to scare him away, but then realized, wait a second, he's not looking at all. Let me just kill those. 2 Lynx are being spread now that all the Hellions have died, and this is to make sure that he knows if there's anything on the map. Now, the Overlord spread does manage to spot this drop, and Serral will be moving in position to deal with it. While he's already up to 77 workers. So Serral basically at the worker count that he wants to be at for the next 3-4 minutes, I would say, before he figures out, hey, what am I fighting? If he sees he's fighting against an 8 racks, which is the strategy I mentioned, it's going to be 4 gas Heromarine with 8 barracks, and this is going to be a 2-2 timing with a couple of tanks. This is basically a 3 base all-in from Heromarine. If there will be a 4 CC, it's going to be very late. There will be no real tech available for Heromarine either, and a lot of the time we see Terrans not even really getting the 3-3 upgrades, as their goal really is to kill their opponent with a 2-2 push. Now, before that push commences, we see there's still some time on the clock here. These upgrades are about a minute, 70 seconds away from finishing. What the Terran wants to do is he just wants to be dropping and killing creep. Just deny creep, maybe get some trades against Lynx and Banelings, but don't lose any Marines. The Marine count is very important to keep high. Now we see here Marine not actually really multitasking, just controlling 1 drop at the same time. A couple of Marines dropping on the high ground. Lynx will be able to clean this up. We have a secondary army here not really being attended to by Heromarine. Yes, there we go, but hasn't really been able to delay the creep spread here whatsoever. Still, only 4 creep tumors have gone down. There is a lot of queens on the map, of course, for Serral. So every time a creep tumor dies, 5 new ones come back for it. Kind of like the head of the snake, you know, snake with 3 heads. Cut off 1, a new one pops up. Except here, 4 new ones pop up. Finally, Heromarine does get some creep tumors. Now the queens obviously immediately put down a couple of new ones, but this at least delays the creep spread, as it means that he can spread further. He's just trying to keep what he already has, and Heromarine fights an opportunity to actually set himself up. There's 82 Marines on the map, well 74 now, but that's a lot of Marines. He has a very good supply. 2-2 is getting close to being done as well. Serral needs to cancel a lot of his morphing Banelings. He does not have a run-by setup. There is a lot of Mutas on the map right now, which will be heading to the 3rd base of Heromarine, but Heromarine already has a turret up, so if he's quick enough with the repair, this shouldn't really be able to do anything. There's no turret in the main base, there's no turret in the natural, but Heromarine is pushing forward, and he's pushing forward fast. We see 2-2 is very close to being done right now. There is a bit of an army up here, which isn't really being controlled, so Banes destroy that. Oh, this choke is very, very dangerous for Heromarine, as tanks are blocking off majority of the area. Marines are trying to get micro. 2-2 has finished, but Bane is just doing a little bit too much to this army, and I think Heromarine does need to evacuate. And the thing that really sucks for Heromarine here is that because he wanted to push very quickly and didn't really feel like setting up a longer contain, there still is creep. He didn't kill the creep. So that means with any of his next pushes, he's going to have to fight on creep again. And usually what you see in these kind of pushes is that Terran takes this kind of slow. They want to make sure to clear the creep and then push forward. And if he had done that and actually kind of secured this area, perhaps this secondary push would have been able to do a bit more, because Banes off of creep really aren't quite as powerful as they are on creep. And even though he might be in a supply disadvantage, his army is still very, very big. As you can see, 101 army supply against 96, so that's very close. The only real problem here that Heromarine has is that he he's gonna be fighting on creep for the majority of the time. Muta's trying to go for some kind of harass again. We'll be able to perhaps even pick off this turret. Heromarine, no! Just in time with the response. Very quick response there by Heromarine. Thought it was gonna be slightly too late. Serral does manage to find 2 medevacs. Might be able to pick off a tank as well, if he wants to. No, too many Marines do come to the rescue there. Still a little Marine force here trying to deny that creep. And now finally we have this low ground area here taken care of. And then Heromarine is, alright, now that I cleared the creep here, let me just go attack a different area. So a little bit interesting as to why he's doing that. Probably wants to siege this base from the low ground, but there's already another base going up at the gold. And that's a base that I don't think is going to be touched anytime soon. Big run by being set up here for Serral, who realizes that Heromarine doesn't really have a lot of defenses at home. Oh, actually he's not going to go for the run by. He decides perhaps that he can, with a big flank, be able to completely destroy this army. Now this is a tricky engagement for Serral because majority of his army is going to be of creep. This base does go down. Heromarine is happy with that result and is like, alright, let me just pull back. I have my +3 on the way. I have a lot of new Marines at home. Should be able to deal with this run by. Perhaps I can wait for my +3, as Serral is playing a complete layer style here. No 3-3 upgrades, no hive even on the way. All the banelings rolling in. Indeed, turret does end up falling now, as this base is already getting very, very low. And the worker count of Heromarine is also getting lower and lower. He does have a fort base down. There's a planetary there. A couple of mules are falling from the sky, but the problem here for Heromarine is just these mutas. What is he going to be able to... What is he going to do with those? Is the real question. He needs to leave units at home constantly. But that's not really how Heromarine wants to be playing this. Heromarine wants to be clearing creep. He wants to be on the map, and dealing with these mutas on a map like this, where there's so much dead space, is such a nuisance. There's only a single turret at this base. I wouldn't have minded seeing a second turret. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room to fill in your responses, as we see Heromarine not pulling his workers quick enough, loses the turret, and as a result loses all mining on the fourth base. His income is significantly lower at this point than Serral, who's also started mining from the gold. Big surround here. Well, really is surrounded from 2 sides. Serral rolls in. So many banelings actually rolling in. 50 banelings. Will be able to completely clear this Marine army of Heromarine. His fort has been resaturated again, but he has no units left. 37 Marine, not a single tank, and there's a baneling for every Marine at this point, and Mutas ruling the sky. So Heromarine does decide to call GG, and Serral takes game number 1. Alright, back into game number 2, within the bottom right, spawning as the red Terran once again. Mouse's Heromarine, and in the top left spawning as the blue Zerg, it is going to be Ansys Serral, who managed to take map number 1 with some cool Lingbane Muta play. Never really getting into that hive tech, being sure to just stay on those 2-2 upgrades, doing lots of counterattacks with the Mutalisk mainly. Not a lot of counterattacks with Lingbane, which is a little uncharacteristic of the way he usually plays. But instead just went for those Muta run-bys, or well, flybys more. Picking up turrets left, right and center, picking up medevacs, the occasional SCV and the occasional Marine. So we have the initial Overlord scouting on the map for any kind of proxy access. Now we see his path is straight to the right side. We'll be heading behind that natural base of Heromarine, seeing perhaps if we can spot gas timings or E-base being built in this general area. On the other hand, we have the second Overlord, just really spotting any close by locations for proxy barracks. So you have a couple of SCVs going ham into this refinery. Must be one hell of a party. Look at all the green light in there. Haven't been to one of those parties in a while. Interesting structure. Guy comes in, comes out with a little bit of green gas. Amazing. Fascinating, truly. So we have the SCV scout once again coming out of Heromarine, making sure there's no early game shenanigans. This is one of the things I don't really like. I think you should either just not scout or use that scout to try to deny a third base at least, but you need to get some kind of advantage against Serral, whether that's in the early game or in the mid game by playing a little bit, you know, generous with the money. Give yourself some extra money by skipping some, you know, some safety mechanisms that you usually have in your play, because Serral in a macro game unchecked is just so difficult to deal with. First Reaper is on the way. We'll be able to spot out what's going to happen on Serral's side. Serral once again gets his third base up without any real issue, as we have the dance between the Reaper and the Zerglings starting once again. But Serral's micro perhaps just a little bit too good for Heromarine here, who gets some damage off on those links. He tries to get a drone. Oh, actually, no. Serral managed to micro away 3 very, very low Zerglings here, but does end up losing one, so Heromarine can go home a happy man. First tumor does go up without any real contention, but that tumor isn't very far forward, so I don't think Heromarine is going to be too sad about that. Now we do have the third hatch on the way, of course, and we're seeing it's only a single Marine. Last game we had that double Marine, of course, by Heromarine. This time only a single Marine and a way faster starport. Now the question is, will this be a tech lab? Yes, it is going to be. Now this could be either for Battle Cruiser or this could be for Banshee. We will be able to see that after the starport finishes, what exactly it's going to be. So you have the Reaper still trying to poke away at these links, catching some damage. Actually, I got a couple of arrows from the Queen there as well. So we have Hellions being built. Barracks is pissing off to a different location so that the starport can finally land there. Now, the question is, what are we going to see here out of Heromarine? This looks a lot like a Banshee to me. Yeah, there we go, Banshee and Cloak starting immediately. And now Serral will be trying to get some information with this Overlord. When will Heromarine be able to spot this Overlord is the real question. Oh, it's completely out of vision actually. So we have Heromarine trying to push forward here into that third base, trying to see if there's any drones that are slightly out of position, but Serral just a little bit too good for that, of course. And this Overlord will be able to spot everything he wants, everything he dreamt of. Oh, sees the tech lab, sees the structure, and now knows it's Banshee for sure. So will start responding either by getting a faster layer or getting spores in his base. Most likely with a couple of spores in his bases. We'll need to start them relatively soon. 2 more queens are on the way. We'll be pushing that queen count up to 6. Serral's Overlord is getting damaged. Don't think it will get killed though. Yeah, layer finally does start here for Serral. As there currently is 6 Hellions on the map. 3rd CC has started for Heromarine, who will be going into bio once more. We see that barracks going down over here. 3rd barracks as well as that reactor on the factory, indicating of course a heavy Marine playstyle. This time opting for 6 Hellions. Of course you want to be getting a slightly higher Hellion count when you're playing Banshee to try and be able to do something in that early stages of this game. Those early stages of this game, I have to say. Spores are going down now. Layer is getting close to being finished as well. And I'm curious to see when we will see the Evo chambers being dropped down or the Baneling Nest. Spore defending this general area. So 4 spores have gone down here for Serral. Investing heavily into the defense. Now where are those 2 Banshees? 2 Banshees joining forces together. We'll try to get some damage done. Heromarine I think managed to kill a drone there. Yes, 1 drone, a Ling and 3 creep tumors. So already better than last game. Of course he also invested a little more into this, so he should be getting more done. As we have the 2 Banshees flying towards that 3rd base. Start cloaking early so that Serral doesn't hear the cloaking sound when he is in vision. Now Serral needs to pay attention on the map and maybe he can see a shimmer, but I don't think he will be able to do that. Queens are out of position, Overseer is out of position. These Banshees will be able to get a little bit of damage done, I do believe. Are flying straight to the main as well. I really like the way that Heromarine played this out. We'll be able to get 3-4 worker kills before Serral even responds. So 2 worker kills, 3rd one goes down. So those are 3 free workers. Where are the queens? They're now moving back with that Overseer. Queen in the 3rd base is in position. Serral preemptively pulls away his drones already, but will still end up losing 1. And lose a little bit of mining time as well by pulling them away. So good harass here by Heromarine, who managed to also keep the Banshees largely alive. This Banshee did take a little bit of damage, but nothing an SCV can fix with his repairing drill or whatever the hell they do to Banshees. 4 drones going down. 1-1 finally is on the way for Serral as well as Baneling speed. We see all 6 Hellions are still alive together with that Reaper, trying to deny the edges of this creep. And Heromarine has been doing an okay job at that. There is some creep at the 4th base, but not too much. And this is really going to be the point of contention here for Heromarine, who should have 2 medevacs filled with Marines relatively soon. And it's a little bit slow on that pickup. Should probably already be out on the map. Now there is no tanks on the way, which is a little bit surprising for me. Instead we're going to be seeing mines this game. This map is very famous for good tank locations. Above these rocks you have good locations, just everywhere ridges and cliffs, which really make it very a very good map for tanks. So confused to not see that. We do see an armory on the way and a 5th gas. Most likely indicating that this is not going to be... Oh! That was very close. Indicating that this is not going to be some kind of 8-Rex play. And as I said, that we do have a second factory on the way on that tech lab. We'll be heading for that drilling claws upgrade most likely. So that the mines burrow faster, remain invisible after they shoot. Helps a lot in these small engagements that you usually have throughout the game. Good micro here by Heromarine, managed to pick... Ooh, as I say that. Completely botches his micro and actually loses 7 Marines to Banelings. I was gonna say he managed to snipe off a couple of Banelings, cleared some creep, and is doing a good job overall, but then he forgets to pick up and loses a couple of his Marines. Now, once again actually, being a little bit sloppy with his Marines, so dropping Marines a little bit too easily in my opinion. Serral might look behind in supply, but of course, once the Muta starts, I was gonna say that will be over. So once again going into that Muta-less style, 12 Mutas at a time, we'll be able to deal with these drops relatively well. And Heromarine needs to be careful playing like this, of course. Because once the Muta lists are out, you don't want to end up losing 2 medevacs filled with Marines for free. These 2 medevacs are going in. 2-2 is on the way. Drilling claws, like I mentioned before, has finally started. And we're seeing the Marauder count starting to grow, or well, starting to exist basically, as there's not a single Marauder yet. I guess going from 0 to 1 is also growing. So we have still 2 drops active on the map here. This drop does get cleaned up. Mutas will be going to be dealing with this soon as well. And I'd love for Heromarine just to pull these drops back, honestly. No need to lose these 2 medevacs for free as well, as Heromarines actually going to be having a pretty powerful time in this game. Managed to sprinkling a single Marauder. 2 more mines are on the way. Good mine hit here by that Widow mine. Does end up killing 1 Muta, I do believe. Yeah, 1 Muta has gone down, has to be that mine. And a lot of damage on the other Muta, so scaring them away for now. Serral realizing what's happening. Hey, this is a macro game, does add an infestation pit, so he can get into Hive, get that adrenal glands, extra upgrades. We see a 4 mine drop heading into the 4th base. Might be able to get some damage, of course. These are drilling claw mines, so actually clean up a decent amount of drones. A bunch of links went down as well, so not sure how worth it this was for Heromarine, but seems to be alright. 1 mine hasn't actually been cleaned up. Serral not paying attention to that. If he gets to shoot again, that would be a very good thing here for Heromarine, who is trying to finally get to work on that creep that Serral's had. Spine does end up finishing and kill the mine, by the way, so if you wonder whatever happened there. Now we have another big run by here for Heromarine. 1 mine with this army and the lone Marauder. Does manage to pick up this 5th base, so Serral's base count being, well, not quite reset, but being slaughtered here a little bit. 1 base going down. 3-3 is on the way faster for Heromarine than for Serral. This is starting to look pretty good here for Heromarine, honestly. Who's already up in upgrades. He's going to remain up in upgrades for quite a while. Hive is late for Serral. Creep spread still is pretty good. The mine count isn't that high. There's only 4 mines. There is a Tor out, but I'd love to really see him focus on that mine production. To get 8, get 10 mines out. Now every single time he trades, he loses those mines and they ain't coming back, it seems. Like more Marauders are being added to this army. 9 Marauders are already. How many tech labs do we have? We have 3, 4. Where's the other barracks? That's it. So we have 4 tech labs on the barracks right now. 7 gas is here for Heromarine, who's still engaging in the middle of the map. Not the prettiest of splits. Don't think this will really get the job done, and it's really lacking mines in this army. Doesn't pick up the Tor. That's a big mistake. That's an expensive unit that can be repaired. Sensor tower is getting close to being done. And these mines, 6 mines are here right now. 19 Mutas on the map and 17 Banelings. And we do have a couple more mines in production. I'd love for Heromarine to just wait a little bit until he has a bigger mine count. Yeah, start dropping around perhaps. I do really like that. I think that's a good play. Drop around, try to clear some creep with just Marines, but don't lose mines continuously. You really need to build that mine count. You want to be building that Tor count up as well. Get up to maybe 2, perhaps even 3 Tors, and then with a big mine count, set up a position where there isn't too much creep anymore and slowly push forward. Of course, that's going to be harder once Ultralisks are out, as we see the Ultra Cavern is on the way. 3-3 as well as Adrenal Glands has started. And where the hell is this command center coming from? Ooh, that's one hell of a fly. It's the Transatlantic. We have some harass here by the Mutalisk. Heading into that fort base, bunch of turrets are there, no mines to help defend. Is there an overseer here? Yes, there's an overseer with this army. And we hit a champagne bottle against the command center. Congratulations, we did it. Oh, no real split, just moving back with the Marines will do the trick here. Cost-effective trades for Heromarine all around, who sees his 3-3 getting very close to being done. 8 mines are on the map, as well as a second Thor is about to hit the floor. And I think he actually has a pretty clear pushing path here forward towards this 5th base. Does get a little bit caught out of position. Majority of the army is not here yet. Does need those mines, does need a big marauder count, as Serral is a little bit indecisive on what to do with these banelings. Ends up going for the army, loses the banelings, starts losing those links as well. 2 mines here. Get a lot of kills, 13 kills on this mine, 8 on this one, and planetary finishes. So Heromarine successfully sets up a 5th base, a single ultras on the way. I'd love for Heromarine to be able to force a fight at this point. He has 3-3, Serral's 3-3 is still 20-25 seconds away, but Serral has different plans, as he's like, alright, let's get into this base with a bunch of banelings. Managed to clear the base, but that also kind of resets the baneling count down to 7. I think Heromarine kind of smells blood in the water at this point. It's like, alright, you killed a lot of SCVs. I'll replace that with army. I already had a big army. I'm just gonna F2 across the map right now. I'd love for him to take these mines as well. Here another mine. All of these mines could be so useful here. Army not completely together yet. There's a single mine with this army, a single Thor with this army as well. But so many Marauders being able to tank these banelings is really helping. There's 15 banelings on the way. There's 20 more morphing right now. Managing to finish up. Good mine hits on these banelings. Still fighting on creep though is a little bit scary, and the reinforcements are streaming in a little bit too slowly, I do believe, as Serral cleans this up once again relatively easily. His 3-3 did end up finishing before this fight, which did help a lot. Couple more mines coming in, and now that Serral is being forced to fight off creep, I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to pull back. Heromarine instead the one that decides to pull back for now, and did actually manage to clear a lot of creep. This one Schumer is gonna annoy him so much. Yeah, does end up sniping that. Muta's flying into that natural base. There is 2 turrets. Good repair. Good mechanics here by Heromarine. Yes, we'll be able to... No! Won't be able to keep repairing that. 2 mines trying to help defend this base. This is really bothersome to deal with, and this is buying Serral so much time. He needs to get creep threat back in this general area. Of course, he still has some creep on the other side, so flanks will be easy to set up, but Heromarine really not quite sure where he wants to be attacking. Tries to push through the middle, then tries to push through the left side, but never picking the same area a couple of times, which means that creep keeps rebuilding in different areas, and then he decides to push into creep once again. So a little bit odd. Oh, mine does manage to kill a single ling, or should I say a single ling managed to bait a single mine. Guess if you're the Zerg player, you're happy, but if you're the singular Zergling, you're not too happy. For the family of the Zergling. Everyone rejoices as only a single Zergling dies against the mine, but it's very different if that Zergling is your brother, or you used to go to elementary school with that Zergling, of course. We have the Mutas once again running rampant in the main base of Heromarine, and Heromarine is running out of steam a little bit here, right? He hasn't really been producing too many SCVs. He does try one more time. We have another CC flying towards that 5th base, but he's on 56 workers right now against the 83 of Serral, who has the army he wants, has a baneling count that, well, is quite high. Double digits. It's getting close to my IQ now. 20 more banelings and we're there. Oh! Banelings do end up blowing this CC, and Heromarine is like, alright, you killed my workers, you killed my CCs. Now it's time for me to try and kill you. Not quite sure how successful this is going to be. Still 46 mines here. 46 banelings here, sorry. Do manage to get a good trade there at the start. I feel like sometimes Heromarine tanks these banelings a little bit too much. With the Marauders, it's a little too confident. It's like, yeah, sure. It's not a very cost-efficient trade to run banelings into Marauders, but Serral has so much more money that it's an okay trade to take for him. At this point, banelings hitting absolutely everything. Marines are falling, Thors are going down, GG gets called, and Heromarine loses 0-2. And thus Serral wins 2-0 now. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click that button, bang bang, just like that, you're subscribed, get notifications and everything. How great is that? Don't forget to like this video, helps me out a lot. And if you want to see a certain series casted, don't forget to suggest it in the comments, as I do tend to look at those every now and then. Thanks everyone for watching, much appreciated, and see you all next time for a new video. Bye bye.